Shannon, what happens next here?
Skip, if I'm not mistaken, Lamar Jackson tweeted yesterday that he requested a trade on March 2nd, right? So the Ravens had this information for 3 weeks, and nothing has happened. As I've said before, Lamar Jackson has no leverage. He's never had leverage. And Skip, when we come out here and say that, well, you don't want Lamar to get paid. No, I'm just telling you how free agency in the NFL works. When you have the franchise tag, you cannot be free. Skip, that means you're uninhibited. If I got the tag, how is that free agency? What did Coach Belichick ask yesterday? When they asked Coach Belichick, Lamar Jackson's not free.
Okay.
So yep. He doesn't have any leverage. What does he have leverage to do? Where can he go? They own his rights. So with that being said, well, Lamar can just hold out and do what? He's still not playing football. The Baltimore Ravens are going to field a team in 2023 with or without Lamar Jackson. And in order for Lamar Jackson to play football, the Baltimore Ravens are going to have to say, A, we're willing to give you the compensation that you want. B, trade you and allow someone else to give you the compensation.
Okay.
Other than that, Lamar Jackson's going to be sitting on his couch.
Okay. And as you said, if he sits this whole coming year, then the contract will not toll, meaning that they'll just put you right back on the tag the next year. See Le'Veon Bell, who is no longer in the league.
Correct. And so now it's like, exactly, Skip, and that's the thing. You want to try to get past these franchise tags. How the players, unbeknownst to me, see, I mean, I guess a lot of guys like, well, I'm never going to be franchise tagged. That's something that I don't have to worry about. But the guys that are, Skip, and it's just a bad way because I don't believe it's fair to a player like basketball. Skip, the guy plays 3-4 years, fulfilled his contract. They can't put a tag on him. Basically, the Ravens says, well, if we don't want Lamar, somebody's going to have to give us compensation for him. Well, if you don't want me, just let me go. You shouldn't be able to receive compensation for something that you don't want. And in order to be free, and in free agency like baseball, basketball, Skip, you can't put a tag. I remember when the tag came out, the owners used, well, we want to keep our star players. We want to keep the Elways and the Marinos and the Aikman. Well, pay them. And you can keep them.
Okay.
You don't think NBA players wanted to keep a LeBron James or wanted to keep a Kevin Durant? But the guy, when you became free, they had the opportunity to shop their services uninhibited.
Okay.
Not having to worry about their team receiving compensation.
Are you saying the NFL system is unfair?
It is absolutely unfair.
Okay.
But Skip,
yet
the players agreed to it.
They voted to.
I thought like it was almost you.
It was because they were ready to get back and collect their checks.
Collect that check, and then they bicker about it. So I can bicker about it from here, Skip. But look, this is where we are, Skip. Lamar Jackson has been in this situation, and the franchise tag has always been unfair because it prohibits a guy from going and get his. Skip, for instance, I should be able to go to the highest bidder without having to worry about the compensation that the old team's going to get because you didn't want me. You slapped the tag on me because I couldn't go, and then if I did go, you'd get compensation. How about just pay me? And then we wouldn't be in this situation. You had after the third year, after the fourth year, and we knew, Skip, once he got to that fifth year, that man played the ink out of his contract. He says now the discount that I might have been willing to give you, and maybe the Ravens underestimated the market because you looked at Patrick Mahomes and everybody's like, well, Patrick Mahomes only got this. Nobody else is going to go over that. Man, they pole vaulted over Patrick Mahomes' contract. And the Ravens seem surprised that the numbers are now, Skip, about to go north of $50 million on the regular.
Okay.
When you could have got Lamar for around $42, $43 million had you done the deal 2-3 years ago. And you didn't.
Okay.
So they have no one to blame but themselves. But Lamar is in a situation, Skip, he can't do anything because he's not free.
Okay. I'm so with you times 1,000. But I can't change the predicament that Lamar finds himself in.
The system is the system.
It is the system, and he must play under a system that he ratified. He voted to ratify and accept. Okay, before I unleash on this, allow me to say one more time, Lamar Jackson is available. He's not free, but he is out there for all comers. If you want Lamar freaking Jackson, a former MVP, a gamer, a baller, a leader of the highest magnitude to my eyes, You can go get him for 2 first-round picks and paying the freight, the whatever the market will bear of whatever. You can make a deal with him because right now he has a deal on the table from Baltimore, which he is, again, he's acknowledged this publicly that it's 3 years for $133 million. Well, that's
the fully guaranteed, right?
That's all guaranteed. That's 3 years, 133. That's $44 million a year. Not bad, but he wants Deshaun, which is 5 years, 230 guaranteed million. So when you said, wait a second, they're $100 million apart. Well, that's why, because we're from 133 all the way to 230. So let's call it, let's just round it off at $100 million of guaranteed cash.
Yes.
That's the impasse. That's the stalemate. That's the predicament in which he finds himself. This is just me. You have to step back from all this and you have to say, wait a second, it's Lamar Jackson. He's there for the taking. Let's do Washington. I know they're up for sale. They're in limbo. They're in transition. They're a wreck of a franchise. You want to make a splash? Just go get him. Give up your next 2. I don't care about your 2 first-round picks. Pay him $220 million. I don't know, somewhere in the ballpark, because he's ready to jump at the first legitimate offer that he gets. Maybe it's not quite Deshaun, but get up in the ballpark.
Right.
Make it worth his while because he's earned that money, and I believe he will continue to earn it at the highest level. If I'm the Colts and I got the 4th overall pick, I want Lamar. I'm sorry. And then brings me, before I unleash on this, remember, yesterday at the meetings, Robert Kraft volunteers to the media. I got a text from Meek Mill the other day, and he says Lamar wants to be a Patriot, wants to play in Foxborough. And I'm like, why would you volunteer that? Well, he's putting the pressure. He says, that's not my call. It's Bill Belichick's call.
But everybody knew that. Okay,
but he's putting the pressure back on Belichick because I think Robert Kraft is saying, in effect, between the lines, if I ran the football operation, I'd think seriously about going to get that guy, right?
Yeah.
Well, Belichick, I doubt it very seriously.
Well, because Belichick said Lamar's not free.
He's not free. But again, is he available? Yes.
Yes.
You can acquire him. You could do it right now.
Right.
You could do it in 5 minutes. If you'll just call up the Ravens.
Right.
We are going to make an offer. We are going to give you our next 2 first rounds, however you want to do, however that falls out.
Right.
And then you've got to make a deal with Lamar. Okay? So here's why, back to your point, that probably won't happen. Because Lamar has played the PR game so badly. He's lost the PR game so badly that, to your point, he has no leverage. Right. Okay, quick point. Our friend Jarrett Bell wrote about what happened yesterday to John Harbaugh, which we reacted to on the fly on the show. So John Harbaugh is about to sit down for a half-hour interview. All the coaches were going to get interviewed. Yep. They're all available. And right on schedule, the little bombshell drops on Twitter. It was a big bombshell from Lamar about I demanded or requested a trade, blah, 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 all the tweets. And Jarrett Bell wrote in today's USA Today, what a trap. Jackson locked in a contract stalemate with the Ravens and apparently attracting little, if any, interest in the market, decided to put the coach on the spot by dropping the bomb when Harbaugh had no choice but to publicly address the matter in the moment. Well, I love Jarrett Bell. Know him well, worked with him. But again, his first line was, what a trap. No, the trap is for Lamar. He's the one in the trap.
He's ensnared in it,
okay, correct. This was the first smart move that he made PR-wise because he did put John on something of a spot. Right. And predictably, John handled it just fine. I love Lamar. I love Todd Monken. We got a new coordinator. Right. We're onward and upward. Yep. We're full speed ahead.
In the lab right now.
Yeah. Jump on the train, Lamar. We're waiting for you to jump on the train. Well, it's beautiful, and he kind of put the ball right back in Lamar's court.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's look at the bigger picture. What do we have here? Nobody knows the Ravens any better than the man sitting across from me. How are they regarded around the league? They're top-notch, first-rate, top drawer, class of the league, tradition, dignity. They do things the right way, right?
When they dig in,
okay.
I mean, you saw what Ed Reed.
I got it.
Ed Reed wanted a couple of $100,000. I just said, okay, this is where we'll go. If you can get more than that, you have our blessings.
Okay.
When Ray Lewis wanted his big money, they say, this is where we'll go. Okay. If you get more than that somewhere else, you have our blessings. I hate to say this.
I can't even remember those impasses. I can't remember because I know how respected John Harbaugh is. I know how respected Ozzie Newsome is because he's at the top of my list, and you know him as well as anybody.
What about, you remember Terrell Suggs?
Yes, I do.
With the Arizona Cardinals?
I do.
You remember Ed Reed going to the Houston Texans and finishing with the Jets?
That they just dig in and they do business.
Thank you.
Okay. I got it. But the rest of the league is saying, wait a second. Lamar fell completely apart with that franchise. It's hard for people to process that. And then they're saying, wait a second. Lamar, the last 2 years, he finished the 21 season. He missed the last 4 games. And last year, he missed the last 6 games. Mm-hmm. I think he chose to miss the last 6 because I think he could have played, but he was, as they say, holding in instead of holding out.
Good.
And you were the first one to say, don't risk.
Nope.
Don't play.
Nope.
Okay, but the league is looking at, man, he can't even finish the seasons, and I'm going to give him $230 guaranteed million. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And then they're looking at the money on the table. $44 million is on the table. Again, Lamar acknowledged that it's sitting there for him to, and I assume it's guaranteed, the 133 for 3 years.
Right.
And the league is saying, man, this is maybe too rich for our blood. And then I'm going to bring up, if I can find it here, let me see if I can find it's over here. The tweet. Remember this? It's just a bad idea. I know how these people think. I know because I've been doing this for a long time. Remember the tweet? I'm going back a little ways where he didn't play great against Jacksonville. They blew a lead at home. And Lamar responds on Twitter to somebody, just some guy, who tweeted, when someone is asking for over $250 million guaranteed, games like this should not come down to Justin Tucker. Let Lamar walk and spend that money on a well-rounded team. Okay, that's one guy's, one nobody's opinion.
But Skip, I mean, it wasn't that harsh. He didn't like, Lamar Jackson, you a bum. You're not even worth that.
He didn't say he was a bum.
Yes.
Lamar immediately fired right back at him on Twitter, posted for all to see, boy, STFU, and you know what that stands for. Y'all be capping too much on this app, MF. Never smelt a football field, never did SH, but eat, you know what. It's just so beneath his dignity. He is the face of this franchise. He wants $230 guaranteed million from somebody out there on the open market. Bring me in. I'm going to be your face of the franchise, and I'm going to take you to a Super Bowl. And they see this and say, man, I don't know if we want this.
Right.
Are we going to risk? Are we going to give him this much money when he goes off loose cannon on people on Twitter? Okay, I still believe in him. I still love him. I know how to think with these things. You have to step up. You have to look through all the smoke, all the bad blood that's dripping all over everywhere, and say, wait a second, what is he? He's 26 years of age.
Right.
He's an MVP. He's a dart thrower. He led the league in touchdown passes the year he won MVP. He went and won a playoff game at Tennessee, so we know he's capable of doing that. Can he stay healthy? Yeah, he can. He'll stay as healthy as any. They all get beat up and banged up.
But Skip, doesn't this tell you what the other teams around the league think of Lamar Jackson?
Yep.
Because there was no hesitation to give up the first-round picks and a player, a quarterback that was the #1 overall pick in Jared Goff, that the Rams gave up to get Matthew Stafford.
They jumped.
We've seen, Skip, we've seen it. When a team wants said player, they'll go and get him.
Okay, so, well, look, obviously, if right now, if Patrick Mahomes suddenly was available for 2 firsts,
they give up 3.
They would give up whatever.
And how much you want? How many guaranteed? $300 million?
Done. Done. Joe Burrow, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Name them.
Yes.
Josh Allen, probably
Herbert.
the same. Herbert, probably the same. But maybe not quite what these guys are.
But I think the thing is for you and I.
Yeah.
The way we look at Lamar and the way the other 31 teams look at Lamar, Skip, I think it's different. And I think fans around the country are starting to see that he's not revered around the league. Yes, Skip, he's a dynamic player. We can't take that. He won the MVP. But, okay, he's won the MVP. Now we got to project forward. We're giving you $230+ million based on what we believe you'll do, not what you've done. What you've done, that's on your resume. The All-Pro, the MVP, I think was he the #1 player overall in the top 100?
Yep.
That's done.
Done.
Okay, now, moving forward, 2023, let's just say a 5-year deal, 2023 to 2027. What do we expect Lamar? In the last 2 years, Skip, he's missed 10 games. That's 5 games a season. Is this a trend? Are we going to continue to miss 5 games, basically average 5 games a season?
I say no.
Because they got to Skip, we got to factor all that in. If we giving you guaranteed money, Skip, $45, $50 million a year, you know the salaries are going north of 50. I believe Burrow and Herbert, these guys is going. Jalen Hurts is up. So Skip,
and they say they're going to address that in short order.
They got to,
and they will.
The sooner the better.
Yep. Okay.
The sooner the better.
All right. So I hate to say this, but I fear Lamar is in a situation in which he's going to have to, quote unquote, settle for what's on the table from Baltimore. But here's my question. He is such a proud competitor, and his feelings are so hurt to the point, and you'll think this is a ridiculous cliche to use, I think his heart is broken by the Baltimore Ravens.
Sure.
I think it's so broken that he would have a hard time dredging up the emotion required to go back in there for 3 years, 133. Again, it's really good money, but it's not what he wanted.
Right.
It's not what he believes he is worth to this franchise, what he has earned and what he will continue to earn.
And the thing was, Skip, if you have an agent, they shield your ears from all of this.
All right.
You hearing it firsthand from DeCosta or
we didn't
Steve
bring
Bisciotti.
up he hasn't had an agent.
So, Skip, so you don't get to get shielded from nothing.
Yeah.
It's from their mouth to your ears, no intermediary. And I get on the Skip, okay, you saved 3%, so you'll save, whatever, might be $6 to $10 million.
It would be. Yeah.
But look where we are.
Mm-hmm. It was money that would have been well spent to get you where you needed to be, because as well as you play the game on the field, you still have to learn how to play it off.
Right.
You have to play it the correct way,
right.
And you need some advice because it's not what you were born to do.
I think the thing is, Skip, if he's totally free and he wants to do it himself, that's one thing. That's something totally different. Because, Skip, guess what? They'll reach out to you and you get on the plane and go board. But you have the tag. Mm-hmm. I believe it's most beneficial if you have an agent or a representative that can work behind the scenes.
This requires navigation. It requires back channel navigation because there's no front channel to be. It's not the avenue. You're not free.
No.
You have to go behind the scenes. This is where you had 2 big opportunities. You had a combine and you have a league meetings in Phoenix at the Biltmore.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. You needed to have a representative on site to be back channeling lunch, dinner, drinks.
That's how it works. Right? That's how deals get done. Okay.
All right.
The Matthew Stafford deal got done at the combine. That's how it got done.
Yeah. I got it. Wait, you'd give us, you'd really think about giving up Matthew Stafford?
2 first rounders there, Jared Goff?
Jared Goff?
Really?
Really? Okay.
Okay. Right. Let me go back to Stan Kroenke and see what he thinks about this.
Let's go see what we got. And then let's make sure. Okay. Would Matt Stafford be on board? Yeah. He's on board. Okay, well, let's go.
And see, like I said, Skip, if you're free, you see people like, I think Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman did his deal, but Richard Sherman was free. Bobby Wagner did his deal when he went back to Seattle, and now he went to the Rams, and now he's back.
Okay.
But, Skip, that's different than having a franchise or a transition tag in which you need to be able to go solicit yourself to other teams. Yeah. Well, you can't do that directly. Let the agent handle that, and then you don't need to hear what the team really thinks about you. No. Because like you said, man, how am I going to go back there? Man, y'all done did me like this. Y'all done said these things to me. I hate that he put himself in this situation. I hate the franchise tag. But, Skip, it's the system that's in place. So let's deal with what we have. We'll talk about maybe dismantling it or coming up with a better system. Mm-hmm. But this is what we have right now.
Yeah. He even got disrespected with the secondary franchise tag because they would have owed him 45 for a year, and now it's only 32 because they're saying, we dare you. We dare any of you out there, because they have, as you said, studied the market, and they concluded nobody's going to do this.
Who's going to give up 2 first-rounders and pay $230 million guaranteed money?
Yeah.
We don't believe it's a team out there. Mm-hmm. So let's roll the dice.
They did.
And if we do, we would gladly accept those 2 first-rounders.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They'd be very happy.
Because they got 5 days to match. I don't believe they would match an offer.
I do not believe. I mean, I'd have to hear what the offer is.
You want the offer? Well, if the offer is, but then, now if they make an offer and the Ravens are willing to accept, so how big is the offer?
Well, it's got to be bigger than 3 years for 133, right?
But Skip, here's the thing. I mean, that's really great money, and I'm telling nobody what to do. But he'll get an opportunity to get another bite of the apple at 29.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not all bad what's sitting on the table, but you're going to have to swallow an immense amount of pride and go back full throttle here.
Right.
You'd have to throw your heart all the way back into it. You'd have to basically say to yourself, hell with those people upstairs. It's about us in this locker room, and I'm going to show you over the next 3 years what I am and what I will be.
Right.
And then, to your point, you'd be 29 years of age, and you would be free. And you would have 133 guaranteed million.
Already done.
Much of it banked, you would hope.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
That's not all bad, and that's probably the way out of this.
Yes, that's what Larry Tunsil does. He does these little short contracts.
Yeah.
This the second time he's been the highest paid offensive tackle in all of football.
He scored.
And with 3 years, guess what? He'll be back to the table in no time.
Yeah.
You know, left tackles can play, Skip. They can play 15, 16 years. You see Andrew Whitworth, he played a long time.
He did. No, it's a good point. Yeah. Well, Lamar could too, I believe. Okay. Here we go.
We will see, at least from the outside looking in, guys, it feels like Lamar emotionally is so far away from that. Games and politics are a tough thing to handle.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.